justice system. The people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders.
That's assault, that's assault, break that, pop that chair, that's assault, that's assault, break that, pop that chair. These people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault, that's assault, it is. You cannot touch me like that. Oh, I will be telling you exactly what happened. Break that, these people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault, that's assault. We have video of her just touching. How did that go? Excuse me. Excuse me. Break that, that's assault. You cannot touch me like that. Break that, that's break that. Oh, I will be telling you. Break that, that's assault. That's assault, that's assault. Break that, that's assault. Pop that chair here. We have video of her just. These people are going to eject you from this line. How did that show? I will assault. It is incredibly appropriate. I will. You cannot touch me like that. That's assault. Break that, pop that chair here. You cannot touch me like that. It is incredible. That's assault. Break that, that's assault. Break that, pop that chair. Pop that chair. Pop that chair. These people are going to eject you from this line. Break that, that's assault. Break that, break that. Oh, I will that's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will be telling you exactly what happened. Pop that chair here. That's assault. Break that. That's assault. Break that. Break that. Pop that chair here. These people are going to eject you from this line. It is. You cannot touch me like that. Oh, I will tell you exactly what happened. Break that. Break that. These people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault. That's assault. We have video of her just touching. How did that go? I will be. Excuse me. Excuse me. Break that. That's assault. Pop that chair. You cannot touch me like that. Break that. Break that. Break that. Break that. Break that. That's break that. Break that. Oh, I will be telling you. Break that. Break that. That's assault. Pop that. That's assault. That's assault. Pop that. Break that. That's assault. Pop that chair here. We have video of her just. These people are going to eject you from this line. How did that show? I will be assault. It is incredibly appropriate. I will. You cannot touch me like that. That's assault. Break that. Pop that chair here. You cannot touch me like that. It is incredible. That's assault. Break that. That's assault. Break that. Pop that chair. Pop that chair. Pop that chair. These people are. These people are going to eject you from this line. Break that. That's break that. Break that. That's assault. Break that. Break that. Oh, I will. That's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will be telling you. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will be telling you exactly what happened. Drop that chair here. That's assault. Break that. That's assault. That's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will be telling you. That's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will be telling you. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will. That's assault. 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 That's assault.
Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. You know, about New York. I like old rap though. I don't listen to much new rap.
What's old to you? Old rap? To me, it's
Let's
like
see.
Jay-Z and Tupac. No, you've heard of Jay-Z.
Yeah, and Tupac. I've heard of both of them. I just don't listen to them like that.
Hey, where are you from, ma'am? Where are you from?
Io sono from Italia. Viva Italia, per favore, via la lure, mezzo male, mamma mia. Figlia mia da fantasia, mamma mia, se faccio tu.
I
How are
can't
you doing
understand her. I
today?
think she might be French.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
Who gets hotter than hot coffee?
Yeah, don't adjust your eyes, fellas. Pharaohs. It's Hugin cough cough. Yes, I'm in a frog suit. No, you cannot pull this off. Let's get it down.
Okay, let's go.
To the park, green fleece on my back, Velcro under the chin. Yeah, I'm carrying the track. Break these slow, tail wagging to the snare. All the alphas looking mad, but I really do not care. See a Doberman flexing, trying to guard his little click. I just hop over a puddle, leave him looking mighty sick. You a basic brown mutt, I'm a neon amphibian. Stepping in the dog club, changing the meridian. Your bark is kinda loud, but your bite is just a joke. I don't even gotta growl, I just hit him with the croak.
That's my voice of life.
Hop, hop, hop up, make way for Hugin. Green suit on, yeah, I'm wildin', approving. Your boy's looking tragic, my swagger is magic. I'm taking your bitches, it's honestly classic. Yeah, I said it, the fattest got to hear me, God. Leave your boys, cause the least got them living large. Yeah, walk past the water bowl, give a little wink. Got a poodle and a bug, both offering a drink. Your boyfriends are sniffing each other's jump out of tree trunk. These bitches want a prince. Well, I'm the green prince of funk. Got a Frenchie on my left, got a husky on my right. I'm looking so fly, I'm looking out of sight. I'm a cold-blooded killer in a warm-blooded body, rolling through the dog park, turning it into a party. Y'all are chasing tennis balls. I'm chasing finer things. Motivation for 2, fit for a frog king. Pop, 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 make way for Hugin. Green suit on, yeah, I'm wildin', I'm proving. Your boy's looking tragic, my swagger is magic. I'm taking your bitches, it's honestly classic. Yeah, sudden, the fattest been to them. Y'all, leave the horns on release, got it from the yards. I wanna mention Marcus, cause he's on this track. I'm flying, I'm floating like Shaq. I know for a fact I'm not on Epstein's list. I got my own feel with the bitches I kiss. I ain't got ticks, my DJ's beat matching. I ain't got please, that's my DJ that's scratching. I got mojo, I got swagger, I strut. Cast you, dog, you just a silly mutt. Bitch, I'm the man's nightmare. The Dow was at 50, so I don't care.
I don't remember signing on to this. I was once inside Hugin until Dad gave him his hard-earned medicine.
Make way for Hugin. Green suit on, yeah, I'm wildin', I'm proving. Your boy's looking tragic, my swagger is magic. I'm taking your bitches, it's honestly classic. Yeah, sudden, defy the future limit line. Leave your boy till the least, let him live it large. Yeah. Shout out to Dad in the Pharaoh chat. Ernie, Birdie, Mitty, Claudia, Tip, Darlene. Wish I could fit everyone into this song. Yeah, Amra, Tish, Toms, Steven, Satan, damn it, Kevin, you wrong. Ladies, you don't gotta get all bent. Cougar's more fresh than 50 Cent. You might not think he's cool, you might not think he's nifty, but Hugin don't count. Click Down Jones at 50, we out.
He said it. We out.
Hello. Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I know it's been a minute. Thank you to Derek for that lovely intro. The other intro, as always, from MC Lunchbox with 2 X's. Add him on the YouTubes if you'd like to hear more. Hugin sends his regards. He did not push baby Jessica in the well, though. He would like everybody to know that. It never rains there. Well, maybe I'll go there and it will rain. You know how they used to have the thing with the thunderstorm cloud over the head? Was it Charlie Brown? Dude, the rains are happening. How are you guys doing today? The rains are happening here. It's been raining all week. It's going to be raining next week, and I love it. I don't mind the rain. I just, I don't like the floods. That's what I don't like. How's the weather with everybody? Everybody loves talking about weather, and I do too. How is it going? Are you hot? Are you cold? Are you moist? Are you dry? How are you doing? It's been a minute. I do apologize. Been very busy at work. My boss had court this week. She actually has it tomorrow, and we had to work very hard on a lot of stuff. And I'll tell you what, there is this thing. They don't sponsor me, but I think they're very interesting, and I like them. It's called Legal Shield. And it's for these ding-dongs who want to go represent themselves pro se. No offense, but what the hell are you doing, kid? But then I get it, because I saw how expensive attorneys are. And holy shit. And this Legal Shield shit, I don't know. She's been using it, and it's pretty cool. It's basically 24/7 on-call lawyers who assist you. And they'll even like do notarized shit and file motions for you. Limited scope, of course, but very cool. And if you're dealing with any legal shit, I guess, and you need attorneys, but you don't have a lot of money, it's like an app. And it's, I guess it's kind of like how they have the on-call doctors, but it's attorneys. And she's been using it lately, and I was semi against it. One of my jobs was to test it out and let her know. I think I'm more like a personal assistant, honestly, at this point. But I did, and it was actually really, really cool. I would like to ask Melanie what she thinks about it. I'd like to ask any attorney, if you're an attorney in the chat, what do you think about that shit? I thought it was very handy-dandy useful. So there's that. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of cold case stuff going on now. And of course, if you need a lawyer right now, we always do have Megan and Megan. But check out that Legal Shield thing, Kurt. It's pretty cool. You pay monthly, and you can pay like 20 or 30, 40, or 50 a month, something like that. And you get all of this stuff. Like it gives you, it's like, are you dealing with this kind of court, this kind of court, this kind of court? Do you need someone to file limited scope motions for you? Do you just need advice? With the $59 package, you get like, you can talk to attorneys, unlimited. And then the one before that, it's like you get 20 emails, 2 phone visits, stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. I thought it was cool. I didn't know anything existed like that. Yeah, and if you are forced to defend yourself against family court is dude. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to get into the details, but yeah, the woman that I'm working with, there's a lot of family court stuff, and it's very dramatic. It's very, very dramatic, and it's a lot. And people will do a Donald Trump, which is when you just file a shitload of motions to continuation motions over and over and over, knowing the other person can't afford to keep hiring their attorney until they give up. And it's just the shittiest thing. And it's just such a bummer that exists, that you can literally just buy time until the other person gives up because they can't afford it. In that case, it's always swaying towards the rich and the fancy, and that's not good. That's not good when you are looking out for the best interest for, like, I don't know, a fucking child. But anyway, there's all that. Hello, everybody. Hello, Tombstones. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lori Marie, we knew you were Italian as fuck. You are, you're a Spitfire. Huh? And so is, hey, Darlene, I'm glad you've been saving lives today. And we're able to find time to come here. Aunt Kathleen, I swear to God, I'm going to come to your house and take a dump in your driveway. How are you doing? And I love you. Yes, Derek, dude, you're sending Derek a guardian angel. He has court too. And it's because they think Derek is another Derek who has the same name. And so they're fucking with him. And they keep summoning him to court, giving him, what are they doing? Giving you tickets? They're trying to put him in jail. They did put you in jail for a night because they thought he was another dude. And that's gotta suck. Especially if you have a common name like John Smith or some shit. Like, how many fucking people has that happened to? I think you can sue. And I still think you should sue the FBI for making you gay. Even though it's fun to be gay. In a way, they made you better. But it should have been your choice. You want proof I pooped in her driveway? I will send you some poop tombstones. I will send you some poop tombstones. Also, that reminds me, mailing people poop. We need to get back into, now that I'm into sports, mainly basketball, The Last Dance, very sad. I did study baseball for my Dark Casino web app. I did find it. I found something that makes me love baseball. I actually love it now. So I take back everything evil I said. And it's all because of this one guy. In fact, I'm going to pause everything we're doing. Let's go off on a little adventure. Because there's a guy that's on this team. Probably, everybody was talking about him like they ain't shit, like this team ain't shit. Or they were doing bad or something. And then they're like, then they added this fucking guy, another Spitfire. And they're like, this guy really, he's going to bring the hype back to the team. What was his name? Mismo Bites guy. Yeah. So this guy, I know when you probably heard me say, Bites another guy, and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't sound good. No, like in a sportsman-like way. What was his name? The baseball guy I showed you? Derek? I bet it'll pop up. Derek Williams? Something like that. He bit the player Bites teammate's shirt. I think it might even be his coach. Where is he? Is it Derek? No, it's not Derek Jeter. I should have had this prepared, but it just happened. I just found him. And we love him. Oh, look at this little fat kid. He plays baseball. Hold on. I'm going to find it real quick. You know what? I'm going to put something on while I find this because I think you really need to see this. This is the type of hype we need to get at. And the only way to get at that kind of hype is by doing shit
Hello,
like this.
folks, Snuck here. A lot of you have been asking me about my morning routine, so here it is. It's my new teeth. Snort-worthy smile, if you ask me. So I like to start my morning by waking up at 2 in the afternoon, get a quick lift, lick, and lurk in before I go off and spend the next several hours in the woods. And this time is mainly for my free-form lurks. I just lurk like no one's watching. Then I head into town to do some casual creeping. I mean, I'm freaking everyone out because I'm getting in my squirms. But you gotta squirm to stay firm. I forget what I'm doing for the next 3 days and get an office job that I absolutely hate. Spend most of my time hiding in the storage closet, but all my coworkers know I'm in there. The next 26 hours I'm purposefully unconscious, come to so I can try on some tuxes because I'm getting married. Love to Ragnora. I'll practice my funeral for 30 minutes, at which point I gotta pretend to listen to someone tell me about a dream they have, but I'm really just thinking about what I'm gonna say. Then, and this is important, I'll just wait, eerily, for hours. What am I waiting for? A big heap of nothing. I wait to wait. I'll spend 2 minutes trying to create fire with my mind, giving me just enough time for a last lurk before the day begins. That's the Bobo way.
All right, I found him. His name is Drew Gilbert. So this Drew Gilbert guy, I promise you, you've never seen someone get as hype as this guy gets. I need this guy around me when I got to do shit I don't want to do, when I got to wake up in the morning. I mean, I feel like me and Dylan could hang out with this dude at a wrestling event and have a time of our lives. When I'm saying like, oh, you're tired? You need to wake the fuck up? Oh, you don't want to do something? You need to do it? Oh, is your adrenaline not going yet? Call Drew. This dude has made me love baseball. He is a baseball player. Look at how he likes to get his teammates hyped. He's tired of losing. He wants everyone hyped up. So this is what he does. And I'm not even kidding. We're going to watch. There's a couple of videos I found. Watch this motherfucker and tell me you don't love him.
Take a look at Gilbert. I don't even know how to explain that.
He's having it. First of all, he tells his teammates, he's like, fucking choke me, motherfucker, before he goes out on the field. Okay. He demands that grown men choke him. He bites other teammates like a dog to get them hype. He just smashes his hand on I love him so much. Let's go back. Look at this shit. This is me trying to get you into the stream. Are you not loving this shit?
I don't even know how to explain that. I mean, he's 100% energy.
And who's got, I mean, like, Gilbert's running the show, let's be honest. Look at him.
Trade. And this has been the over-the-top hype ritual. That's what Willie Adames called it, Tom. Drew Gilbert, coming over from the Mets, has been the ringleader.
He could be a wrestler. This is the Ultimate Warrior. This is Bret the Hitman Hart on cocaine. I love it so much. Look at him. The guy's already got him by the throat. Who is this team? I know. Is it the Giants? I love the Giants now. Okay. This is incredible. My favorite was, I don't know shit about baseball, but I love Nolan Ryan because he got someone in a headlock. And one time, my best friend Michael Priest had a really good idea. He said, what if we make a shirt? Don't do this. Don't steal this. Where it's Nolan Ryan and he has Andre the Giant in a headlock. Or no, it's Andre the Giant lifting up Nolan Ryan with the Ultimate Warrior in a headlock. Something like that. You know what? Fuck the shirt idea. The point is, he choked a man. And then he became the sponsor of Dairy Queen. And I feel like same vibe. Can we not get these guys restaurant sponsorships? What are we doing here?
Trade. And this has been the over-the-top.
You're talking about the Savannah Bananas. And they're basically like the Globetrotters of baseball. And I love that for them because huge Globetrotters fan. Never was a fan of basketball till recently. But I've annoyed many people, especially Dylan, with my love of the Globetrotters. Absolutely love them. I think the cool tricks they do are fun to watch. It's like close-up magic. Okay. And I like that. I like that a lot. Unless it's on an island. But other than that, big fan.
Hype ritual. That's what Willie Adames called it, Tom. Drew Gilbert, coming over from the Mets, has been the ringleader. And Chapman, after home runs, has been doing that.
Okay.
2-1. Gilbert swings and launches it high and deep. Right field. It is gone.
Look at this guy. He's he's just a hype little guy.
Stay hot, Drew Gilbert.
I guess so. He's on the Giants now, and he used to play for San Francisco. What's the difference? One's on one side of the United States, the other's on the other side. You have Nolan Ryan's rookie card, but I don't want him to die to make me rich. Well, sometimes a man has to die so that you can get top money on the baseball card. Jack Smith 8888888 says, Nolan was such a big deal when I was a kid. Last I saw, he was on Olshan commercials. Legend. Dude, what's the commercials that Troy Aikman's on now? I think he's doing custom home commercials. You know, I really respect when a player retires and they do commercials for shit they love. Okay? That's what I love. And that reminds me, Clearly Canadian now has new flavors. Limited edition summer strawberry is back forever. Okay? And I will never buy out. I will only sell in. But I promise you, it's the tastiest. And they have a new orange flavor and it's great. And even though they won't respond to my emails and they don't, in fact, they flat out rejected a consensual sponsorship, I will be sponsored by them against their will. So that's happening. But also, I love it when baseball players are like, or any sport, when a player is like, okay, I'm fucking popping right now, so I'm going to go support my hometown pizza shop that nobody else knows about. You know, like the Von Erichs used to be on local, like Peter Piper Pizza, or no, a big Peter Piper Pizza, and then the local one in Dallas. They used to be on all these commercials, and it was the best. Peach is out now, Jack. You can go get peach now. They have peach. It's out. It's delicious. It's so good. I have my high school prom date's roses in a clearly Canadian bottle from 1994. The roses are dead, aren't they? You're like a little belle. You're like a little Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Cute. I say keep it. I say keep it. And even though the Canadians cheat at curling, which I'm still not over, I'm like the least sporty person ever, and I am obsessed with sports right now. I think it's like it gets my my adrenaline going to see other people's adrenaline going. Kind of like gambling, which Dylan had the best quote last night. If you're not on Twitter, you're not going to see it. But last night after he lost money gambling, he said it was worth it to feel all those emotions. And I love that. It's like I'm paying to feel. It's so sad, so funny. And I get it. But then we won tonight on our online gambling platforms. I always tell everyone, just take 5, put it in there. I did find a crazy hack. And I think I kind of want to do a members only, but the point of the hack, it's kind of like against the point to do a members only, because the point of the hack is to get you a free $50 without having to do literally anything except gamble a $5 token that they give you. And then you get 50 from them and you just take it out and keep it. And you don't have to connect any of your bank accounts or anything. And it's like a very aggressive attempt at this one particular app to make money or make permanent customers and make money, because they're under the impression that if they give you $50, which are digital, which you can cash out into real money, they're like literally you just cash it out, that you're going to stay and spend it. They're like, people can't resist gambling. And as long as we require that they use 5 of the dollars we give them, then they're going to stay because they're going to win and they're going to want more. But what I did and what my friends have been doing, because I told them about it, is they've just been taking the 50, doing the gamble on the 5 and then cashing out the 50 and then shutting the app down forever. And it's hilarious. It is literally, if you're broke and you need $50, I might just teach you how to do that. But I also feel bad because, yeah, the first one's free method, but they give you 50. So it's like, damn, here's the whole thing. It's an app that I'm debating, because here's the thing. If you have a gambling addiction, I don't want to like get you back into some shit that will destroy your life, but I also don't want you to get caught up in it and not pull out. But ladies, basically it's this, and Dylan did it and it worked great. And I did it worked great. I told my friends about it. They've been doing it. They're like, holy shit, thanks. I just got $50. And it's real. Basically, it's an app where you don't have to, what is in my eye? Where there's no over under sellers fees like the other gambling apps. You know what I mean? Where they take a little off the top. They make their money off advertising. And I think they get like 0.1%, which is, when you have enough people on the platform, it works. But they designed it with a fake currency gold coin method. And the idea is so that you can practice, so you're not losing all your fucking money or destroying your life. But also for people who are ex-gambling addicts who still like the sport but don't want to spend their real money. In addition, what you're paying for when you buy into the app are these fake gold coins, but what they give you as a gift is the exact same equivalent in money. If that makes sense. So you might put $5 real in to get 5,000 coins, but they're also gifting you $5 every time. So when you go into it, the first time they're like, if you buy $5 worth of these coins, we'll give you 50 in digital cash. And then you take the 50 and you cash it out and you get 50 real dollars in your bank account. But the rule is, in order to cash it out, you just have to gamble with the other additional 5 they give you. On with that 5 and take the 50 out, and then you're done. You have that, and then you close the app when you're done. And it's fucking brilliant. But it's also scary if you're really into gambling, because then you're like, oh, now I'm stuck in this thing. But anyway, we've been fucking around with that, and it's so fun. I might tell you all about it. I do want everyone to get a free $50. That would be cool for you. But also at the same time, don't want to promote anything that's going to ruin someone's life. Squeaky Mike. Anyway, look at this guy. He's so fucking hype.
After 3 hits yesterday, in his first at-bat today, playing here at Coors Field for the first time, he crushes a 2-run home run to right, and it's 3-0 Giants.
He's so fired up. He stood at home plate, watched it, then realized his buddy was on the mound, started running, but did a massive bat flip about 4 steps out of the batter's box. He's screaming at his teammates in the dugout.
Sorry for a second. Is the pizza burning?
No, I haven't even put it in yet.
Oh, damn. Oh, it's just how our oven smells. Hey, sorry, guys. I had to pause it to yell that.
Around third base.
Okay, Marine Health. Get you some. All right. Let me pull this down. So we have a lot of shit to talk about. Yeah, gambling is a sin. That's why it's fun. All right. So, a couple of things that are on the agenda tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank those of you who made me aware of the ongoings of baby Jessica. I did look into it. Holy shit. Secondly, thank you, Lori Marie, for gifting an Oblivious Benson membership. And I apologize to whoever gets it. You're in for it. Member for 21 months is Tombstone's Dead Air Time. I can't believe we've been alive that long. And then member for 19 months, Roasted Bean. Can't believe we've been alive that long. Hail us. We did it, you guys. Thank you for being members. Thank you. Thank you. Also, I did get confirmation the other day. We were talking about LISC. That's the other thing. And somebody asked about a lawsuit. There is a civil suit being filed by one of the victim's children, who is an adult now. And they're filing it against the Huerman family. And John Ray is representing them because John Ray has yet again led people, in my opinion, wayward and apparently convinced, which I think is very predatory, in my opinion, convinced a vulnerable victim's child, who is an adult now, that somehow Vicky is involved and so is Asa. Now, depending on whether the swinger story was real, sure, I could see Asa potentially knowing now. However, still maintaining that Vicky has anything to do with it and then offering to spearhead a lawsuit against her when, again, she was a child is fucking out of control, in my opinion, and disgusting of him. And I'm not going to blame the victim's family member because they're clearly vulnerable and possibly being taken advantage of. And that makes me sad. Also, hello, Carrie Kishian. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, so there is a civil suit that's ongoing. It is just very upsetting, you know? And yeah, it's the scrunchy guy. Hello, Laura. Hello, how are you doing? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Zima. She was a child, exactly. And he made sure to say both of them. What do you make of the young woman who helped stalk him and his family with Rex? Which young woman? You talk about John Ray? If he says that, if John Ray says a young woman was stalking him with Rex, I don't believe it. If Asa and Vicky get any funds from Rex ownings, that would make sense to a degree. Vicky, I think, deserves everything. Like, I feel bad for her. You know what I mean? She was a child, and as an adult, she's finding out that, and I feel horrible for her brother. You know, they've been duped. Whether or not Asa knew, that's different. I do not think in any way those kids knew. At all. And I'm glad you left them a nasty response if they said that. You spoken Raul, good. I wanted to put you guys in touch. I think I did, right? That was a long time ago. Let's see. What else do we got here? But some hoodlum outed me as a secret math person to his mom, the math coach at my school, whose son I tutored. That went well. Oh, Jesus. Is she a mathlete? He said there were phone calls. Oh, yeah. Pizza and all that. Yeah, I don't. So, by the way, he said that after he found out that pizza crust DNA went down. And it also would have been impossible. Actually, on the original episode where we talk about that, I show you like how that's impossible and why. Ray said there was a young woman who called him when Rex was stalking him, helping Rex. Yeah, I do think he made it up. That's my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. I think that he made it up, or he was being stalked by someone who was maybe very interested in Lisk. But I don't think that Rex would have a young woman call for him to stalk John Ray. And I don't think a young woman would do that. I think someone might pretend or lie, and Ray would just believe it because he'll believe anything. A lot of people have been caught by, a lot of serial killers specifically have been caught by pizza crust, straws, cans, all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Okay. So we've got a couple of things to talk about. First, we're going to talk about baby Jessica. We've talked about her before. She's from here in Texas. Baby Jessica fell in a well in 1987 here in Texas, in Midland, and it was the talk of the town. It was like, remember when those miners spelled MINERS, and then also, well, okay, so there were the miners who got stuck in the cave, and then there were the miners ORS, who were kids who were on like an excursion who got stuck in some caves in Thailand, and Elon was like, I'll come help. Remember Pat, who got stuck in the hole? My buddy Pat? If you don't remember, we can watch it again later. Baby Jessica was the original Pat. Okay? Stuck in the hole. Yeah, he did. By the way, back to that. I actually have that on here. And the daughter and the wife did visit him before he was guilty, or before he admitted to it, and before the documentary. And then after, I don't believe Vicky has. But I think Asa has. I know Asa has. But yeah, that man has no marbles to lose. Okay? No marbles to lose. So baby Jessica got stuck in a well in 1987. It was a big fucking deal. She was the original Pat. She was the original miners. She was the original Thailand cave miners. She got stuck in the deepest, darkest hole, and it was scary because she was a baby, like a newborn, like a little big baby, toddler, little kid. Like she has no like fucking. She might have even been 3. I don't even remember. She was a baby. She had stuck in this fucking well. I remember seeing it all over the news when I was little. I was like 4. And I remember being like, oh my God. I was like 3 or 4. I still remember baby Jessica all over the news. And every single year after in Texas, you get updates on baby Jessica, baby Jessica, baby Jessica. It was probably on the news about as much as Selena or OJ. So we give a baby Jessica update because baby Jessica, okay, look. I need to figure out how to present this in a way that's not super offensive, but here's the story. Baby Jessica got stuck in the well. She was the nation's baby darling. Somebody said this on Twitter and I looked it up and it seems to be true. One of the guys who rescued her, that stuff, there were so many, the people who rescued her, it was so fucking dangerous and they were so scared and they were worried she was dead and she ended up being alive, and it affected them so much that some of them went through really tough lives. They got addiction. One of them committed suicide. Like, it was bad. And baby Jessica was a huge fucking deal. And now she's an adult and she whooped someone's ass, and not just anyone's ass, her partner's. It seems allegedly that, because she did get charged with it. She went to jail for attacking her spouse. How she did it, the details of it, I don't know. But I do know that she made a series of, people would say weird, some people would say something's going on, posts on Facebook. you know, and it's never okay to hit your spouse. But I feel like, and this is the controversial part, I feel like we have to remember she was in a well for, what was it, like 3 days? She was in a well for a long time. Okay. And sometimes when you're stuck in a hole earlier in life, you might attack people later in life. Okay. I don't know. Look, I'm not saying that. I don't know, but maybe the jury's out. Actually, the jury's in, and she's probably going to have to go through a trial. But regardless, I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like if you got stuck in a hole at any point in your life, you could take a swing at someone. But I'm probably wrong. It's probably not ethical and bad. And I'm sorry. Yeah, she was deprived of oxygen in that hoe, which is not a song. It is not a hip hop song. She has well privilege. Exactly. Well privilege. PTSD trauma is whack. I know. And that should be in the song. 3 days in the hole equals 1 domestic violence pass. Just 1, though. Yeah. It's like 2 afterbirths, 1 swing you can take. Team Baby Jessica, are we okay with it? Here's the thing. He must have done something. That woman, she was in a hole for 3 days. And she didn't lash out crazy at people her whole life. And that was not a pun. And if it was, it was a pun, but it was not on, okay. It was not on purpose, but it happened. Anyway, since my friend Pat survived a hole, he has not struck anyone, but it has only been a week. So what do we think? Are you still mouthy men? Oh my God. Oh my God. Also, Sherlock Ho, who is this Pat Ford Barstool person? I think so. Fucking homie keeps tagging me because I forgot okay, look, I forget who people are all that. If you change your fucking name or whatever on Twitter, I'm not gonna, don't get mad at me if I don't recognize who you are right away or your screen or any of that. Yeah, who the fuck is Pat Ford? Who is this guy? I asked him what his deal is. Can he save me money on my car insurance? Because they keep tagging me and stuff. And I'm like, who the fuck is he? Is he a lacrosse player? Why do I not know who this is? And everybody's talking about him on Twitter. I don't know, bitching about him, or I don't know if they're mad at him. And I still don't know. AJ, these people that you hang out with, yeah, Flip keeps tagging me in it because I didn't recognize Flip. Okay, I get it. It's Allen Iverson. I know that now that I like basketball, but I didn't know that back then. And I was like, who is this basketball player that keeps tagging me in this shit that somehow has to do with the Karen Reed shit? I don't want no part of that. So I snapped. And then it was like Flip. And I was like, my bad. That was funny. But now to get back at me, they keep tagging me in it. And this Pat Ford is in all of it. And everyone's fighting with him, calling him names, but then maybe complimenting. I can't figure out if you're complimenting him or mad at him. I don't know what he did. Are you against him? Are you for him? Who is this person? You were posting thirst traps, but they seemed angry at him or pro him. I still don't know what's going on, Sherlock. So I need you guys to get at me and tell me what's going on in less than 100 characters or 140. Is he a troll? I don't know. He kind of made fun of this Republican lady, and it made me laugh because I don't like her and everybody else likes her, but I thought it was hilarious. Also, the judge in this whole situation with that stuff, that shit made me laugh really hard. That judge is hilarious. It's pretty hilarious. He's like, journalism, sure. Like, fucking love that judge. I will probably learn more about this judge. I'll tell you what, the judges in Massachusetts are like wrestling managers. They're all extremely diverse. Some will infuriate you. Some will make you laugh your ass off, even though they're doing something highly unethical. I don't know who's pro again. Oh, now he's good? Okay. But Lori says he's bad. Yeah, that judge needs to be on the Justice Network right now. Fred Mertz, he does. Fred Nethel. I don't know, but he's not buying either their bullshit, neither am I, and it makes me laugh. Part of me hopes the judge will be like, why don't you two go get a fucking hotel room and get out of this courtroom? Makes me laugh very hard. I enjoy it. Anyway, back to baby Jessica. She's the OG person to fall in a hole before my friend Pat did. And now she's taking swings at her husband. So let's see what that's about. But first, let's learn a little more about baby Jessica for those of you who don't remember her. Because again, this was a Texas thing. I don't know how popular. Oh, the oven smoking. The oven smoking. Babe, you have headphones on. The oven smoking. There's smoke coming out of the oven. You stopped the fire. I didn't start it. I'll just let us burn. Save the gambling apps. Okay. Here we go. This is stuff about baby Jessica. For those of you who don't know, here we go.
October 14th, 1987. A nation holds its breath as 18-month-old Jessica McClure fell into an 8-inch wide well in her aunt's backyard in Midland, Texas. She was trapped 22 feet underground, and a rescue would be difficult and almost impossible. There was no time to lose. For 58 hours, rescuers, drilling experts, and volunteers worked around the clock to save baby Jessica, battling against time and collapsing Earth. The entire nation watched live as efforts unfolded, praying for a miracle. Finally, after nearly 3 days of nonstop effort, they pulled Jessica out alive. She was dirty, bruised, but miraculously unharmed. This was an unbelievable moment of happiness and joy.
Okay, so that was baby Jessica. Now somebody has made a, look at her. She's got, the little kid had 2 casts, right? She's a sweet little baby, fell in a fucking well, just like Pat, okay? Just like Patrick. Now we're going to see another thing that shows you more about her situation and why it was so scary.
This toddler plummeted into an abandoned well in her aunt's backyard. She was trapped 22 feet below the ground, and for 56 hours, rescuers worked to try to save her, all while her mom watched in horror. The plan was to make a parallel shaft right beside the well and dig a cross tunnel to reach her, but this took a really long time because of the bedrock they had to dig through to get her. To find out if the toddler was still
Oh, good. I was muted the entire time. That's fantastic. I was just going through all of your comments. They did go in below her to keep from falling in lower. Yes, they did an 8-inch wide hole. And then they said shaft. I get it. You're being you. I love that for you guys. If they prayed harder, she'd be out sooner. Agree completely. That's my favorite take of this entire situation. Maybe if you'd pray, shit wouldn't happen to you, little kid. Yeah, poor little kid. Look at the red queen. Yeah, she got a red cast. Her mom's just watching in horror. Okay, now I blame the mom for not digging harder. Holy shit, Lori Marie. Holy shit. You're getting a wrestling champ for that one. Holy shit. Lori Marie coming in hot with the takes tonight, and I kind of love it. I agree. Pray harder, dig harder. What are we doing? Baby in a hole. Baby in a hole. Different Pat, but go ahead and start the rumor. You can say I started it. I'm fine with it. I'm tired of this person popping up in my, who have we heard that before? Just, why is all this coming in my news feed? Well, probably because he wanted to save me a whole lot of money on my car insurance. That's probably why. Look at this little sweet baby got stuck in a hole.
alive, they actually lowered a microphone into the hole and heard her singing to herself, confirming that she was still breathing. Finally, after days of work, a paramedic...
Now, I know this is fucked up, but part of me thinks it would have been real funny if the music she was singing, like they put it down, they hear her singing in the hole, and she's just like, my whole life I've been a motherfucking gangster. That would be really funny.
Managed to inch his way down the tunnel they had made and pulled the baby out, making baby Jessica a worldwide sensation.
Very encouraged, but she is expected when she comes out to spend several days at the hospital while she is thoroughly.
And breathing have been monitored with a microphone practically throughout the ordeal. They've had a microphone down so they could listen to her cries and her breathing. And at one point, the doctors at the scene emphasized they took what crying there had been out of Jessica as a good sign, because it meant to them, it was reassurance that the child was breathing and
See, and this is why every time you guys cry, I say, well, this is good. Great. It's great news. What was that? You're openly weeping? Well, good. It's a good sign.
well. Clearly, the child could not cry very much if she were not breathing and breathing well. This is CBS News live coverage of the scene from Midland, Texas. Dan Rather with Bruce Hall as we, with the doctors, the men in green that you see there in your picture, continued to eagerly and anxiously await the next development, which we believe, hope and pray, will be Jessica McClure coming up and out of ground. This story is received.
Okay. You guys got some good questions. If I was digging that hole, I'd been through that bedrock fast as fuck. I know, Toombs, because all you do is dig holes. But you dig graves, so that's why they didn't call you, because they're trying to get this baby to live, girl, so it can beat people up in the future. And you wouldn't bother to ask what the baby was running from. Probably Prince Charles. Did she break her legs? Yes, but that wasn't because of the hole. That's because she was late from the playground. She was out at recess. She came back late. Teacher said, punishment, and broke her feet. Toombs, where were you? I know, exactly. And Darlene, weren't you busy saving lives? She was busy saving lives. That's actually Darlene pulling Jessica out of the hole right there. Yeah, she met Bush Sr. Anyone would be traumatized. If I meet Bush Jr. or Sr., imagine meeting Trump and then 26 years later you mow down some people. It would make sense. Who has a well without stones around in it with a bucket and a rope already there to make wishes? I know. Well, actually, they didn't even know she was in there until someone threw a nickel in, and then she went, ow. Back in the good old 80s when you could chill in a hole far away from helicopter parents, exactly. Free range helicopter, USDA certified parents running from Sherman. Exactly. She is Sherman. She's Pat. It's Pat. Holding in that Republican rage since 1987 so she could take it out on her man recently. How do we feel about that? Are we okay? First of all, what'd she do to him? I need to know. I need to know. I missed the whole. Hey, I missed the whole too. I blame Bush. We all do. We all do. The good whole day. Okay. All right.
Receiving tremendous worldwide play in newspapers and radio and television stations, Bruce. Hong Kong, both English and Chinese language stations are carrying reports on the girl. The South China, mainland China Morning Post.
Wouldn't it be funny if I pulled up that chick right now who's like, Kana Tata, and she like speaks Japanese in a Texas accent?
Language newspaper ran a story that covered almost a quarter of a page, we're told. Now, that the South China Morning Post is out of Hong Kong, not out of mainland China, but the story is
now they
being
can't
covered.
release that recording, because if they do, then fucking Lord or Kaylani or someone's gonna make a fucking rap out of it. They're gonna be like, shout outs to George Floyd and his family, and then they're gonna put baby Jessica in the background. We can't have it. We can't have it. It's like the missing Nirvana tapes. We just have to let peace happen. Otherwise, Martin Shkreli's gonna get a hold of the baby Jessica tapes. And then he's gonna take everyone with AIDS money, tell them you can't have these pills. Gotta go buy the baby Jessica tapes and the Wu-Tang.
By newspapers on mainland China. The stories received display in newspapers in West Germany, the Netherlands, throughout Brazil. It's a story that has caught people's attention, taken people's interest, not only in this country, but also abroad. We had some visitors from the Soviet Union in our studio earlier. Yes, Bruce?
Dan, it looks like they're getting ready to bring something up from the hole. I can't tell. They're tightening the slack on the cable, and people are moving in very, very close to the hole. Two doctors are
Can
right
we get something going where, like, can we use AI to have Hugin pop out of the hole? Or is that inappropriate?
on the edge as they tighten the slack a little bit. A moment ago, you could see what appeared to be smiles on a couple of the people there. One person held a thumbs up, but we have no idea whether that was a signal to the man on the crane or whether he was giving some other signal. There are about 4, 5, 6 people right over the rim of the shaft, leaning over.
Okay, I heard what they said before you guys go in the chat, before you get crazy. I know they said the rim and the shaft. I know there's a lot of dads from Texas standing around in hats that truckers wear. Okay. I know I know what you're thinking. I know they're patting each other on the back, standing over a hole, looking over the rim. I get it. Okay. But it was all for baby Jessica. Nothing is inappropriate if you're brave enough. Yeah, this was back when they cared about child victims. It's a good point. Now they're like, well, who owns the hole? Oh, the president? Epstein? Put dirt in it.
So that you can barely see their heads now. They're peering right down into the shaft. The cable itself is relatively tight. It has been lifted several feet, and then they stopped at this time.
Bruce, the man in the orange hat, what's called in Texas a gimme cap, that orange cap right in the middle is controlling the cable operations. He's controlling it somewhat with hand movements. Man in the orange and white cap with the white mule gloves on.
Yes, I can see him now. You have a different view than I have a little bit there, and I see him, and he is, as you said, giving instructions to the crane operator as they were going to be very, very careful about this. This is still a very dangerous procedure as you bring up this child the last few feet, bring her back to the surface. It is a time they want to be very careful with it. They do not want anything to go wrong here because it's been an exhausting 58 hours, and they want to make certain that when they bring her up, that she is all right and there's no difficulties here. Here she comes. There's clapping.
Live and direct from Midland, Texas, Jessica McClure is up. She's alive. What a fighter.
Dan, we can barely see her from here, but they're holding her up.
What a fighter. This was 1987. Back when it was okay to take a swing at your loved ones. They warned us. They said, she's a fighter, look out. And now here we are.
They are just so excited right around there. People are clapping. It's just a tremendous sense of excitement and relief here. Momentarily, they'll be making their way right toward us here as they prepare to take her to the hospital. Here she comes, right, getting ready to go to the hospital.
A woman widely known as Baby Jessica after she was rescued from
Okay. So this is the update. This is what's going on now. Okay. And also, I'm going to need someone to help me splice that footage together with my friend Patrick Siros coming out of the hole.
well back in the 1980s is now facing assault charges.
Yeah, Midland County Sheriff's deputies arrested Jessica McClure Morales Saturday on allegations of family violence in her Midland home. The incident have not been released. Morales gained attention worldwide back in 1987. Here she is. News crews stayed up around the clock for nearly 3 days to see if the 18-month-old girl could be rescued from a 22-foot well. She did make it out okay, and years after her rescue, she has lived, it seems, quite a fairly normal life.
Yep, just a fairly normal life, attacking your spouse, but she was in a well. So, again, I ask you, chat, if you fall in a hole or a well and you're stuck there over 2 hours, how many hours do you have to be stuck in there to get away with fighting your family? What do you think? I'm going to say 12 or more. I think anybody could do a good, I think 12 hours in a hole or a well should actually be a requirement, maybe like a deprivation thing. Look within, you know? But like if you just spend your whole life never going in the hole, then, you know, it's like a play. Well, I muted myself again. And you know, it's probably for the best. It's probably for the best. How long do you need to be in a hole before you can strike at someone?
All right, welcome back. We are continuing to follow breaking news this morning. We are going to get you straight to the very latest in the suspect arrested in the 1990 murders of the Lovers Lane victims. This has been a huge cold case.
I fucked up again. I fucked up again, you guys. I forgot to transition into the next topic. And into my actual gender, which is basketball. I'm Larry Bird. Hi, I'm Larry Bird. Hi, I'm Larry Bird to tell you about Laura J. Riker, who's been a member for 18 months. Thank you, Laura. Darlene has fallen in lots of holes. That's the shirt. All right, that's going to be the shirt. It's going to be the shirt for your whole life. That's right. Okay? Wouldn't be the worst. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's why they call you pierogi cacciatore. Stuffed with potatoes. Very likely Jen. In the hole? Toombs is on a tear tonight. And on a tier. She's standing on the tiers of those whose holes she just dug, and she's about to toss them in. Dunkin' Donuts missing. Okay. Well, that's actually very funny, but how dare you? Then Ben Affleck will not have a job. Let's all calm down, given the jobs of C-list celebrities. Oops, I keep hitting mute. Fucking StreamYard. Everything looks different. My earliest memory is drowning in a river. Totally thought I was off adventuring with the water babies, so no trauma here. Dude, you talk about in the womb? I think you were just in the womb. Speaking of in the womb, Hugin's in the room. He says hello. Bulldog falling into the hole. You find this funny? You find it funny what this poor boy has gone through?
Why'd you go get another one? Big silly
He like,
thing.
I won't do that again.
Don't get bulldog.
Sherman,
What? That took all of my money.
I got the whole thing on video.
That took all of my money to get him out the first time.
I knew he was about to do it again.
I know. Come on. We're going to do this again. Last time.
Come on, Sherman. And this time, he needs a leash on now. He must have fun getting out the first time. Don't get in another one.
Sherman!
Okay.
Okay.
There's a leash over here for him.
Okay.
Or a leash, I don't know.
Okay. So there you have it. I'm actually going to hold off because I do have one or two more videos I'd like to show you before we get to the main event, before we get to the main topic, why we're here today, which is to tell you about a cold case that's been solved. And that's great news that they've solved it. It's a very sad situation. They've solved it. Incredible even. Because it was a big one. It's called the Lovers Lane Murders. And before I tell you about that, we do need to do a little goof troop shit, okay? Because it's been a while. Sillies. I saw this video today. When I tell you I cry laughed, I just dropped Dylan off and I got home and I turned on my computer. This is the first thing that popped up in my X feed. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I thought about it. Like I actually sat outside and stared at the baby bunny that's living in our yard, and it's very cute. You can see pictures of it on my X feed, and his name is Boban. I'm staring at Boban, and I'm thinking, what in the fuck did I watch earlier? And then I just kept replaying it on my phone, laughing to the point where I was in tears. Again, I'm not going to try to explain this to you because I still don't know what's happening. Not this. I'm just making fun of what she's wearing. No, I'm going to put the video up. Let me put this video up. We're going to probably watch it 3 times. I don't know what's going on. I love it. It's the funniest thing I've probably ever seen on the internet. I am going to mute myself while I watch this because I scream laugh. It's so good. Again, don't know what's going on here. But what do you think? Like, what do you think is going on here? I'm about to die laughing. Here we go. What the fuck is that noise? This is funny. And then when the monkey puts his hand in the dog butt. I'm watching it. When oh fuck. It's this part. It's right here. What the fuck? Oh my god. I love whatever that is. I'm gonna make Dylan put on a fish mask and we're gonna fucking rubber band each other. This is how your dad died. Fuck. Dude, what? Okay. That was fun. Okay. Also, good for him. He wants something. All right. Okay. So now that we've done that, we have to transition into the main event. And the only way to do that, especially after Melissa says something so fucking crazy, but fucking hilarious, is to maybe toss you over this. Because it has been a bit of a minute, all right? And I do need to remind you of this.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I
don't think it's funny, Raskin, okay? If you think it's funny, Raskin, then maybe you need to be okay. By the way, the Trump phone still isn't out yet. So if you bought one, I think you're just fucked. You know? Yeah, that was on ESPN because it really fucking happened. Also, this really happened. And listen, guys, I have footage from the Strait of Hormuz. I'm going to show it to you. Some of you have seen this footage before. You might want to go take a pee-pee. If you got to take a pee-pee or a cocky, now's the time. Then we're going to get into the main fucking issue. We're going to get to the point tonight. I'm going to tell you about this cold case. Finally broke after fucking 40, 50 years. So long. How long has it been? It hasn't been that long. 30-something years. Okay? But it's been a minute. I feel like some of you have come back a little loose in the lips, okay? You're a little, you think that because you haven't lived in dad's house for a long time, you can just go out to the bars whenever you want, bring people home. What's wrong with you? Started smoking? You're crazy. It ground you, but you're too old. So what I can do is I can show you the right path. And while I'm showing you this path, now's the time to go take a pee-pee or a cocky or make a pizza or burn the house down. Whatever you need to do. Here you go.
你好 Jack 我改变主意了我到这里来找
把手给我闭上眼睛快闭上上来抓住栏杆闭上眼睛别偷看
我没偷看
跨到栏杆上抓住了抓紧点眼睛闭好了吗相信我吧
我相信你
好了睁开眼睛
我飞了这个
来伸出手我拉你回来
世界因夕阳西下，笨蛋。用天然的死亡吧，因为王国正要来临。死亡之翼，天命之灭世者，万物的终结者，无可阻挡，无可违逆，无极大灾变。
这片土地的灾难还没结束，等我们彻底毁灭它之后，就献给伟大的 Sagaras。
火焰仍在肆虐，你的挣扎毫无意义，命运之轮已经开始旋转。
I cannot believe some of you stayed and we got 3 more viewers. That's insane. I think you're calloused. I apologize. Okay, I apologize. It's
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I
don't think it's funny, Raskin. Okay, now it's time to tell you about a series of 2 murders that happened called the Lovers Lane Killings. Okay, and I'm gonna let the news tell you a little more about it, but I do want to give you kind of a gist of it. So it was the summer of 1990. We're in West Houston. Okay, there's a spot called Lovers Lane. It's where people go to neck. All right, they're trying to neck out there. All right, it was the 90s. That's what people do in the summer hot. Okay. So they're having a hot summer. All right. This couple, when I tell you, babes, both of them, babes, could have been in any magazine. Just gorgeous couple. Like, I mean, really, like, stunning. And they're just, they're young. And they're in their 20s. Well, late teens, early 20s. And this couple end up not coming home. And when one of them doesn't show up to work, the police end up getting called, and they end up finding a vehicle abandoned in this area of Lover's Lane. And when they get there, it is the most horrific murder scene. The male victim was tied to a tree, decapitated nearly. He was tortured. He was cut up. He was beat up. His golf clubs were out of the vehicle, and they were positioned towards the body of the young lady who had been sexually assaulted, nearly decapitated. Both of them it was horrible. Remember how I told you there's a backlog in DNA in Houston? Well, a few decades later, what? Am I frozen? What happened in my back? I'm back. I'm frozen on the what the fuck face. What's going on here? StreamYard's being StreamYard? Because I can start over. I'm finally back. Okay. So basically, they had been tortured. He had been decapitated and tied to a tree nearby. The golf clubs were taken out, positioned towards her, toward the car. Her body was found also decapitated. She'd been sexually assaulted. And then there was a rolled up $20 bill next to her body, which was odd. So this couple had been definitely overkill. Both of them nearly decapitated, both of them tortured, her sexually assaulted, golf clubs positioned. The $20 bill next to her, it was very strange. Very strange. Now, there were some weird connections between is it trumping? Okay, I'm finally unfrozen. Okay, good. Now I'm frozen, but my eyes have closed. Excellent. Can you guys hear me at least? Okay. So there were some weird connections between these victims and another victim that would come about years later. Well, so let me go back. 2 months before this killing, there was a woman who was sexually assaulted. It was a home invasion, and this person attempted to kill her and sexually assaulted her, and it was brutal. It was really, really bad. She reported it. They took a sketch. 2 months later, these kids are killed. There's no connection between the cases, but remember the backlog in Houston we talked about. So in I want to say 2007 or 2013, they finally were able to run that sex assault. Not were able to, they were always able to, but they chose to finally, decades later, run that sex assault kit and get the DNA back and put it in CODIS. And they also happened to finally put into CODIS and run the DNA of this case, the Lover's Lane case. And they ended up recently finding that the two cases were connected. Now, here's what's also odd, is the woman who was sexually assaulted 2 months before in 1990 in June was an exotic dancer who worked at a club. She worked at 2 different clubs, actually, that the male victim who was tied to the tree and killed with his girlfriend 2 months later also worked as a bouncer at from time to time. Simultaneously, there was another weird connection because she had also previously worked at another club where he also worked at as a bouncer at. Now, the female in the case, there was one potential weird connection with her dad working with a guy who also once worked at that same club. Other than that, for the backlog to take 30 years and then to finally connect these 2 cases, very odd. But also, she didn't end up murdered. There's no $20 bill next to her, nothing to do with golf clubs, but it was other insane, horrific shit. He did torture. He did horrible things to this woman, but she survived. But now they were able to make an arrest in the case. And it's a guy who lived in New Caney, Texas, who had a hell of a fucking laundry list of shit that he'd done. Okay. He was known to impersonate a police officer multiple times. He got in trouble for it. Also, one of the victims at the killing was covered in boards. Like he tried to cover them up, which is something we've seen in a lot of cases in North Carolina and up in northeastern US. Connecticut, of course, a bunch of the Linwood girls, a bunch of cases up there. So it's really interesting because, you know, they were also tied up. So they're tied up, throat slit, weird positioning, covered in boards, $20 bill next to the victim, the golf club, all of it. But this guy, he had sex assault of an exotic dancer, multiple traffic offenses, impersonating an officer, a bunch of felonies, robbery, all this other shit. He left Harris County, Texas in 2019. He'd been busted for all kinds of shit. But here's the fucked up part of it too, is he had actually gone to jail for 20 years, okay, before this crime happened, where he sexually assaulted this woman and killed those people. Because he pretended to be a cop who was with the Department of Defense, he said. And he would pull over people and say this to them, and he would use fake cop lights, and then he'd rob them. So he got in trouble for that. He was supposed to go to jail for 20 years. He served 3. Sounds exactly like Robert Brashears, doesn't it? So as soon as he gets out of jail, what does he do? He commits the Lover's Lane murders and the sex assault of the dancer first. And I went through his history. His criminal history is insane. And they picked him up about 2 weeks ago, in Lincoln, Nebraska, of all places. So, also, thank you very much, Laura, for the suffering of intermittent face freezing. Yes. I keep freezing, and I can't see it, but you guys said I did. I hope it looks good when it's done. Otherwise, it's going to be like, nah, 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 but we'll fix it in post if we need to. Thank you, Laura. So they finally solved the case. They used all the technologies, genetic genealogy, DNA technology, everything that they possibly could. They got the guy. It's really crazy. But I do think he is responsible for a lot more, because there was a lot of shit going down in Houston around that time. And you're going to notice, like I said before, we're going to start seeing a lot of these cold cases from the 90s getting solved. What's interesting is late 80s to early 90s. But last year around this time, they were solving cases from the 70s that we were seeing pop up all over the news. In the 60s, I think they're going in order. Great. Because it's literally going in order. Remember, we had the yogurt shop murders. One of the girls that was connected to Kenneth McDuff. We were talking about Elmer Wayne Henley. That was out of Houston. All of these cases, and then, of course, you know, we were just talking about the highway, Houston's highway. That's all around the time right before this. So it's going in order in Houston. We're starting to see cases get solved in order. And also, we saw Kristen Galvan. That wasn't that far back. But you can tell that they're finally starting to do something about it. So expect a lot more early 90s cases to be coming soon, is my opinion. But let's see what happened. I actually 100% agree with everything you said, and then some, because the posing, the tree, all of that. Remember Delphi? Everybody was like, whoa, that's horrible. And they tried to make something out of it that it wasn't, like stick placement and stuff like that. In this instance, we have someone who is a killer, who has done horrible things before, and sexual assault and torture. And he was doing that in the 90s, and he's been out this whole time. This is actually, and he traveled. They tried to say that he had spent almost all of his life in Texas and then some in Lincoln, but I found records from Florida and various other places. If he has time to do that and he's willing to take on 2 people at once, again, reminds me a lot of Brashears. It makes me wonder, I would like to build a timeline of where he's been, which is what I'm personally working on. Maybe I'll put it somewhere so that you guys can contribute if you want to help. But I think that he's been other places, and I think there are other victims. And I think any that have to do with posing, money being next to the person, which there's a lot, believe it or not, decapitation, tying to trees, couples, these are all very, very specific things. But then you add in sex assault on both cases. That's big, you know? What jobs did he do over all these years? When they caught him, he was unemployed. Was he ever a trucker? Did he ever do something that required travel? Many people have speculated and do believe that he's also a serial rapist, because there were a series of serial rapes that went on at the time that some people attributed to being connected, but to that one specific case. Now, we don't have any evidence of that yet, but it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, because what if? And keep in mind, they're just now running sex assault kits from back then. They could put 2 or 3 in next week. That bing, bing, bing. Ping to him. We don't know. I say ping, but that's not the right word. Connect, if you will. So let's go ahead and take a look at the news of this, and then we will watch the press conference. Actually, yeah, we'll watch the press conference too, because I want you to see the couple. They showed them. Here we go. Look.
Decades, if you can believe this. The Harris County District Attorney just told us a man has been arrested in those murders. We're talking about a case from 35 years ago.
Oh, no. He only sexually assaulted the female, as far as we know. Just to clarify. It might have sounded like I meant both. I meant both the other victim who he sexually assaulted, the dancer, and then the woman in the case with the couple. So there's that. Yeah, right after. And he just had the arraignment. He just had it.
Sherman Chow covered this case back in 2017 and gives us a look back prior to this arrest.
Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson, young and in love. It was the summer of 1990.
She died when and so she's been gone longer than she was alive.
27 years later, the tears still flow easily. On August 22nd, the couple had parked off Enclave near Eldridge, then nicknamed Lover's Lane. When Cheryl didn't come home that morning, her family called police. Shortly afterwards, someone called them, a security guard.
I found her purse and shoes in her car, in her white car.
Just 10 minutes later, relatives and friends were at the parkway, well before Houston police. And when the dogs found Cheryl, officers had to keep her mother back.
To this.
Keep in mind also, this is around the time that they found, this was a time when they found multiple women bound and murdered in different places in the area. One girl in Dickinson, 2 of them, one of them was a younger girl. She was a teen who was working at a restaurant. Another one was a woman who was working at a hotel. Then you had multiple serial sexual assault, rapes, and attempted kidnapping. One guy took a girl all the way out to like Fredericksburg area to a deer blind. Then we had the Heidi Seaman case that just happened where she was found bound and murdered. And then there were 2 teen girls that were walking home and a gang attacked them and did this horrific stuff to them and murdered them. It was very hot. It was the summer. Everyone was looking for them. They ended up capturing, I think it was 3 to 5 different guys. And I believe Ted Cruz even prosecuted the case, which is wild. So, like, there was a lot happening at this time.
Day, man, I know that if they had let me go to Cheryl, I would have breathed into her and she'd be alive.
Cheryl had been raped, her throat cut. 21-year-old Andy was tied to a tree and nearly decapitated.
Today, a drone shows Enclave Parkway as a well-developed business corridor with parking garages and mid-rises.
Isn't that wild to see the difference? This also kind of creeps me out, but I guess like everywhere people exist now, there was probably someone who died underneath them, and that is crazy to think about.
Bodies were found. Very different from August of 1990. This is what it looked like then from a police helicopter. The bodies were left along the southern tree line.
This case now belongs to HPD Detective Darkus Shorten.
Using a knife shows that it's personal to me.
As does hiding Cheryl's body underneath boards. Balls and clubs that had been in the trunk of his car were lined up pointing to Cheryl's body.
I'm concealing it, but not enough that you cannot find her. In other words, I want them to be found. You know, the offender may have known Cheryl.
So Detective Shorten is trying something different.
Familiar DNA is something new.
Suppose investigators have a potential
Also,
suspect.
this is true, and I wanted to read you a little statistic from Houston. 11. This is in April of 2024, which is actually, I believe, around the time we did a whole episode where we talked about this. Rape kits to about 1,100 of the 4,000 suspended. By the way, 4,000 sex assault kits were suspended because they were too old, or they might have been tainted. They weren't. And also, those cases were considered closed when the victims didn't even know that. They didn't even know they weren't tested yet. Rape kits to about 1,100 of the 4,000 suspended sexual assault cases were tested, but never investigated by HPD. In March of 2012, the Houston Police Department Crime Lab identified over 6,571 criminal sexual cases that had DNA to it that had gone untested, completely and uninvestigated. They've caught up in those 2012, so it took 14 years to address 2,000, but not necessarily investigate them. And as of 2 years ago, they're finally testing them. That's insane.
But not enough evidence to compel a DNA sample. But a relative of that suspect will share his DNA with police, and enough genetic markers match to show a relationship.
That individual profile could be used as probable cause to go and get a DNA sample from the actual targeted person.
While investigators await those results,
and that's kind of big. That's something that I've always wondered, but I know that it would vary state by state. And here in Texas, this actually used to not be allowed, and now it is. And it's specifically because I believe they talked about this during the yogurt shop murders, during the documentary and during the press conference, that it was because of the wife of the brother of one of the victims who started pressuring cold case detectives, and they started working towards getting legislation drawn up so that they could essentially allow this type of technology to be used here. So that's like a huge deal. And the fact that you can use the positive in Texas, it's a huge deal that you can take a positive comparison to a relative and use that as probable cause to get a search warrant. That's changing the game now. That's also another reason why I think we're seeing these cases get solved. And notice how it's always the same thing ever since Yogurt Shop. It's always, we did genetic genealogy on it. Keep in mind, before that press conference, we never saw that because that was illegal here. So this is amazing.
As probable cause to go and get a DNA sample from the actual targeted person.
While investigators await those results, DNA testing has already made one important, though very late, link. 2 months before the murders, an exotic dancer was raped in North Harris County. With DNA testing expensive and in its infancy, it would take 17 years before that sample was run. It turned out to be a match to the Lover's Lane killer. The rape victim helped generate this sketch of her attacker, which was also aged. Something else that stood out?
He had a very forceful military type stance about himself.
There remain many other bizarre twists to this case.
$20 bill by the body.
Could the killer have frequented clubs where tipping was common?
Very odd. That is a puzzle to me.
Father's Day in 1990, last Father's Day together.
For Cheryl's family, the photos and mementos, the good memories, are increasingly precious.
This is her ring.
And her watch. It gives Barbara comfort to wear them and to see Cheryl in heaven.
And in my mind, I can see Cheryl holding other people, other angels, because they were traumatized too, and lets them know that they're fine now.
Cheryl was the oldest of 6 children. Barbara needed to raise her other 5 children, and that may have helped save Barbara's life.
Okay. This is a great question. Yes, we are that far behind. Because in Texas, we were not allowed to use that. It was considered privacy invasion. And also, yeah, the government could use it for God knows what. But in this case, the fact that they're using it to solve murders, I'm not going to complain about that part. Damn, dude. That's a long time, though. So, yeah, that happened. And I'd like to show you guys the press conference where they announced this. Because this is one of those, this is after they arrested the guy. You're going to find out all about him. Okay? His name is Floyd William Parrott. Parrott. He did have a family with kids that he neglected. He was apparently pretty shitty husband, but he was a father and a husband at one point. He's got a laundry list of criminal history arrests, just so much for all kinds of stuff. He seems like a real piece of shit. So let's find out more about him. Also, the cornhole guy,
after more than
with no arms and legs, got indicted. And actually, let me pull up because I want to make sure I don't end up getting copyright struck. And I noticed this is from KHOU, and they only let you use so much before they're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Here we go. So this is boop, boop, boop. Here we go. I can't stand Fox. They do let you rip their content, so that's pretty cool. It's like the only cool. Of course, they let you rip it. It's shit content unless it's recording, unless they're showing you like a press conference or something. Other than that, it's like Melania being like, I am not friends with Jeffrey Epstein. My StreamYard, all of StreamYard is fucked up. Hold on, let me exit and enter again. Give me 1 second. Okay. The Wi-Fi's connected directly to the computer. It's not even Wi-Fi at this point. Got my Ethernet, you guys. Oops, sorry, I hit the mic. Let me let this play and we'll see if it still sounds like shit if it keeps cutting up. It's my bad. Somehow it's my bad. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I probably am. It's probably something. All right, here we go.
Today's a good day. I'm joined by the mayor of Houston, John Whitmire, the chief of the Houston Police Department, Noe Diaz, and a number of his officers, the FBI, and a number of their agents. And we're here with some very, very good news. I want to take a few minutes and recognize some people that, quite frankly, we wouldn't be here today without. I've got to start with retired HPD Sergeant Billy Belk. I was 11 years old when these murders happened. It's one of the cases that I first remember being aware of in the city of Houston. Sergeant Belk was on the scene that day. He carried this case with him for the rest of his career. I've now read every page of almost 1,000 pages of offense reports. He has hundreds of supplements. He chased every lead possible. And when he retired, he said it was the case that stayed with him. Having him be here today speaks to how important this case is. So thank you. The next four that I want to recognize, I'm going to kind of do all together because Sergeant Mike Burrow, Sergeant Rich Rodriguez, and my Assistant District Attorney, Division Chief Samantha Connect, they got this case to today. They worked tirelessly, hours on hours. 3 of them literally just got off airplanes from Nebraska hours ago. I don't know how y'all look as fresh as you do, but I'm very glad that you're here. And our office, Samantha, was here until well after midnight, the night after the arrest, and has worked this case herself for more than a decade. It goes to show the collaboration that everyone locally knows we have between our federal partners, our local police departments, and this office. We truly are one team. And from the bottom of my heart, as a citizen of Harris County, thank you all for what you do. We are also joined by Shane Henry. Shane is the younger sister of Cheryl. No one has dealt with this tragedy longer or more significantly than Shane. The Atkinson family is out of state. They couldn't be here in person, but I know that they are here with us and they will continue to be with us throughout. We're going to hear from Shane a little bit later, but to you and to the Atkinson family and to everyone that loved them, it gives me so much pride, so much joy to be able to say, we got him. These unsolved murders have weighed so incredibly heavy on these families and our communities for more than 3 decades. That stops today. That stops now. Floyd William Parrott was arrested in Lincoln, Nebraska, Wednesday evening and charged with capital murder in connection to the murders of Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson. We are currently in the process of extraditing him back to Texas so that he can answer for these incredible crimes. I want to be extremely clear with the public and most importantly with the families. This is an incredible milestone, but this is not the finish line. For the investigators and the prosecutors across agencies and decades who never gave up on Cheryl and Andy, who spent 36 years tracking leads, facing dead ends, the frustrations, the emotions that you all have had to deal with. A monumental chapter has been closed. But the work cannot and will not stop now. And in a lot of ways, the work for the DA's office starts today. We are moving from the identification and investigation phase of this case into the prosecution phase. Justice delayed is justice denied. I know that you all have been desperate for answers for 36 years. I know that Garland Atkinson did not get to live to see this day. I know that your parents could not be here to see this day, and countless others that loved Cheryl and Andy aren't here. And it's because this justice has been delayed. For 36 years, you've missed birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, never knowing if today would ever come. We can't give Cheryl and Andy back to you. We'll never know the people that they could have become. But to you, Shane, to all of you, what we can promise you is that we will deliver the truth, and we will deliver justice in a courtroom to this defendant. Today, we bring you and so many other families out there hope. And tomorrow, we get back to work. I'm going to introduce our mayor, Mayor John Whitmer.
Thank you. Thank you, District Attorney Sean. When I say let's go to work, this is what we're talking about. The collaboration that brings this accountability to our region, not only City of Houston, but Harris County and the state of Texas, with the incredible work of professional crime fighters, whether it be the FBI, certainly HPD, the district attorney's office. I see Crime Stoppers present. We're all in this together. And we're not only into crime prevention, but we're into solving crime. That all hands on deck. District attorney is working around the clock with his staff. HPD, I can't say enough about the dedication, hours away from their family, missing Little League games, even a retiree. John, thank you for your work. Can't say enough about the FBI. You know, people sometimes wonder what's going on after 5 o'clock. Crime fighting's taking place, and we do it for the victims, their families, and also to reassure the public that we're dedicated crime fighters. It should be, and I know I speak for the professionals in this room, our highest priority. I spend a lot of time at City working on quality of life issues like streets and drainage. But if we're not safe, the district attorney and I have shared this vision. If we're not safe, nothing else matters. So today, as Sean mentioned, this is a giant step forward. And I wanted to reassure the public that we're not only preventing crime, we're building up our resources, our cadet classes. HPD has over 5,400 officers now, 400 sworn in during my administration. So we're doing everything possible, but also we need the public assistance. If you know something about this specific case, step forward. If you can help us prevent the next crime, step forward. So I'm just here to spread the word that all hands on deck. Our community's getting safer, but we still have a lot of work to do. So let's go to work.
And now I'm going to introduce the lieutenant over our cold case, sergeants and detectives, Amanda Zimmerman.
Good morning. I have the honor of leading the HPD Homicide Division's Cold Case Unit. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the profound impact this heartbreaking case has had on our community. My prayers are with the families of the victims. Their loved ones tragically had their lives taken from them so long ago. I'll provide some details about the investigation. However, this is still an active case and I can't disclose every detail, so please understand that. From the beginning, the HPD homicide detectives poured unwavering effort into the investigation. Throughout the years, multiple HPD homicide detectives continue to reevaluate the details of this investigation in partnership with the Harris County District Attorney's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Office of the Attorney General of Texas Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit. Upwards of 100 persons of interest were examined over time, and forensic advancements were applied. As we continuously renew our focus on cold cases, we assigned highly experienced detectives who brought fresh perspectives and specialized forensic expertise to this investigation. Through my detective's reassessment of the case, he was able to garner more information utilizing forensics, which ultimately led to the identification of the suspect. The depth, continuity of resources, and dedication provided to this investigation were instrumental in ultimately leading us in the right direction. While we are grateful to have brought justice in this case, as it's been said before me, our work still continues. The same commitment remains for every unsolved homicide case in our community, and your voice makes it possible. If you have any information about this case or any other case, please contact the Homicide Division at 713-308-3600 or Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. Thank you.
And so now we're going to hear from the person who probably does not want to speak the most here, but she's going to. Samantha Connect is our division chief over major offenders, and she single-handedly started our cold case unit. She has, I'll tell a brief story. When I was a line prosecutor, I walked into her office in about 2017, and she had this case spread out on her desk. And I asked her, and she kind of updated me on what she was doing with it. And Sam is not a very emotional person. She was both excited and sad as she's walking me through this in 2017. And it just goes to show how many people dealt with the ups and downs of this investigation, because in 2017, they were excited, thinking they were about to have a suspect, and watching firsthand what Sam has gone through over the last decade. I am very excited to bring her up.
Good morning. My name is Samantha Connect, and I have the privilege of running the cold case division of the Harris County District Attorney's Office. Like Sean said, I've been with the office for almost 20 years now, and the last 10 years of my career I have spent working on this case. But I didn't work on it alone. I worked on it with Special Agent John Shemp, who was a huge asset to this case, and the FBI, and then along with HPD homicide detectives Sergeant Burrow and Sergeant Richards, and together I felt like we formed a great team, and we all had a mission, and that was to see this day. The best phone call of my career was Wednesday night when I got the opportunity to call the family members on this case and let them know that we had arrested someone for this. It was the privilege and highlight of my career. And I hope that it's not over. We really encourage people to come forward. This is a press conference about public safety. We want to know if you have tips or information on this case to please call us and let us know, because we want to continue to work this case. And it's our job now, along with Lauren Bard, the prosecutor that's also been working on this case with me, to bring justice to this family. And then going forward, as the division chief of the cold case unit, there are other cases and other families out there. And like Sean said, I hope that this brings you hope. And just know that there are people that are working in their offices after hours and on weekends when you don't necessarily know it, but we're working in the background so that we can have moments like this. So I thank you all for being here today, and I thank you for the support both from HPD and the FBI on this case.
And so now you've heard the technical parts. I think it is so important to hear from someone who has dealt with this case longer than any of us. Shane, will you come share a few words?
Hello, how is everybody? Just wrote something so I wouldn't forget. Cheryl was, sorry. Hold on. Cheryl was my best friend. We did everything together. They used to call me Little Cheryl because I'd follow her everywhere. She just had the most amazing laugh and smile, and just so beautiful and such a wonderful life ahead of her until now, until that day. But I just want to let you know a little bit something about Cheryl. Today is the day we waited for with a heavy heart. Our sister was taken from our family in a way that no one should ever experience. She was more than a victim in a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, and a person who brought much love and light into our eyes. Hearing that the person responsible has finally been caught doesn't bring her back, and it doesn't erase the pain our family has lived with all these years, but it does bring a sense of relief knowing that justice is moving forward and that this person cannot hurt another person again. We want to thank the detectives, the FBI, the DA's office, and for everyone who worked tirelessly on this case. The dedication means more to our family than words can express. To everyone who supported us, shared information, and kept our sister's memory alive, we thank you. Please continue to remember her, not for how she died, but for how she lived and the love she gave to so many people. Our family will continue to seek justice for her, and we will continue to honor her life every single day. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go to questions and before we pivot to the public safety part of this press conference, I do want to invite Special Agent Soyez up to give a few words.
Good morning. My name is Chris Soyez. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI here in Houston. On behalf of the FBI, I want to first start off by saying to the family and friends of the victims, we offer our deepest condolences. We know you've waited more than 3 decades for this day. I think what we want you to know is that this law enforcement community never gave up on this case and has been pursuing this case for years. I just want to say that the law enforcement partnerships in this city are like no other, and this case is a testament to that. We work side by side, the HPD and DA's office for years on this case. For over a decade, the FBI has brought all of our resources to bear on this case, to include our behavioral analysis unit, our forensic lab in Quantico, and dozens of interviews alongside HPD. When this subject was identified, we immediately worked closely with our FBI office in Omaha, which covers the Lincoln, Nebraska, and we got a tremendous amount of support there to the point where we were able to travel there just this week to effect the arrest. I really want to thank everybody here who's contributed to this case. We know for the families of the victims, justice has been long delayed, but this case has never been forgotten, and we will continue to pursue justice on your behalf. Thank you to everybody in this room, and I appreciate you for inviting us here today, sir. Thank you.
So those of you that are local know that my office and this administration are not clickbait, put up mugshots of people that have been charged. We choose to uplift survivors and victims and not shame people that are accused of crimes before they're convicted. So you don't see our social media feeds, you don't see our press releases having mugshots and things of that nature. This case is different. And so today we are going to release pictures of Floyd Parrott from 1990. We are doing that because we truly believe there are more victims out there. We believe that there are more people in the city of Houston and the surrounding areas who have had interactions with this person. Cheryl and Andy have had their pictures plastered for 36 years everywhere, internationally. But this is the first time as a law enforcement community that we get to ask the public about this guy. If you met him once, if you met him at a club, if you knew him at all, reach out, let us know. Because over the next months, we are going to get a complete picture of what this individual was doing in our community for decades. We have information that he was holding himself out to be law enforcement for years. You all have already reported on his criminal history. There's no reason for us to go into that. But he has been identified as someone that falsely held himself out in the late 80s, all through the 1990s, all through the 2000s, in different cars, in different ways as law enforcement. If you recognize this individual and he pulled you over, even if you were doing something that back in the 1990s you weren't very proud of, call us. I personally need to know exactly what this individual was doing. We believe that there are victims of numerous different types of crimes that are still living with it right now. We need to know the full picture of what Floyd William Parrott was doing in our community. Today, we're also releasing a picture of the car that he was driving in May of 1990. This is months before these two vibrant, beautiful young people were taken from us. If this car springs some memory, if you recognize anything about this, call us.
Do you notice right here? Let's go forward a little. He's got these lights and then that cop light, but look at when they open the door. This is the part that freaks me out right there. Handcuffs. This fucking psycho.
Our entire job right now is to paint a complete picture of Floyd William Parrott so that we can determine and eventually let a jury of Harris County, Texas residents determine what should happen. And with that, I'll open this up to questions.
Over the case. I think most of us have read the charging documents, and we're just
Also good on, I'm going to give Fox their flowers right here. Good on them for miking up the people at the press conference who are asking the question. I appreciate that, but we're also going to put the caption on just in case, because they do be soft-spoken, and yeah, what a total fucking creep. But like, that is also the positioning I was looking at where police used to keep their handcuffs in cars and not there. I'll tell you that much. Also, look at what is this thing? Is that for the I think that's to control the mirror, which is wild. And as you can see up here, I do believe that is a CB radio. I would wonder if he continued with CB radio adventures later in life and if he had a handle. Interesting. Ah, the spotlight. Okay. Is this a used cop car that he bought? I'm just like, it's for the spotlight? Okay. That's wild as fuck. Yeah, he's got the red and blue lights on the front of the car. The one in the center right there. A fucking spotlight right here, apparently. Where's the mirror? Oh, it's attached to the door. Duh. The radio. And then handcuffs down here. What a creep, dude.
Some memory. If you recognize anything about this, call us. Our entire job right now is to paint a complete picture of Floyd William Parrott so that we can determine and eventually let a jury of Harris County, Texas residents determine what should happen. And with that, I'll open this up to questions.
over the case. I think most of us have read the charging documents, and we're just needing some clarification of when did you guys get the name and matched up the various DNA evidence. Yeah.
And so we're not going to get into today the technical aspects of time frame. That's not the point of this press conference. We will eventually have to lay that out. The most important thing going forward is that we maintain the integrity of this case so that 12 people from our community can eventually render a verdict without it being any more polluted than it is.
Also, I want to point out that, again, I remembered that connection. I was looking through my notes earlier. The female victim and her family wanted to stress she was not like an exotic dancer who was being stalked. Also, oh my God, you can see my hive. I'm covered in hives. I do have the filter turned on right now. I've had hives for a few days. I'm allergic to a few things, one of them being coconut. They are all over my body and I'm itching constantly. Also, made me lose my voice. Definitely ate something with coconut in it. Got real puffy, got real pink, got real covered in hives. So forgive me. I was just shocked. I was like, whoa, the filter doesn't work right there. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So one of the situations with this is the female victim who was with the gentleman who was tied to the tree. She spent 1 month working as a cocktail waitress in one of these bars where the woman who got sexually assaulted used to work. And then the guy who, Austin, he worked in both that bar at one point in time and the other bar. And I do think, and the other bar where the dancer worked. So each victim had a separate connection to this dancer without knowing it. And she didn't recognize them. But it does say something to me, I think, that this guy had a hard time keeping a steady job. Left money outside of one of the victims, focused on a dancer. And at one point in time, all three victims had spent time in the same club. It does make me think that this guy frequented strip clubs. I do think he did. And after looking into his history the past few days myself, almost a week now, not only that, but I think that obviously he cheated on his wives. He was not a good dad. He committed a lot of robberies and did a lot of things. And he just did a lot of crime that's centered around other people who also spend time in places like that. And I'm not blaming like the victim's lifestyle or anything, because again, that girl only worked there 1 month. The other woman had been working there for a while. She was just a dancer. And then the male victim had just worked as a bouncer there briefly because like the guy who owned it knew his dad. So it makes me think that obviously, in addition to the money being by the body, that this guy probably at one point in time frequented those establishments too, just in my opinion. And I think that's something to keep in mind.
So we're not going to get into the timeline of the investigation today, other than what is already public in the charging documents. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's correct. We got his name in very, very shortly before we effected the arrest. As you can imagine, once you get a tentative match, there were a number of other forensic steps. So it wasn't the day that we did it, but we got it in fairly short order before we began putting all of the things in place so that we could be sure to not only effect the arrest safely for everyone involved, but to then progress forward. We've got to do a lot of different things even now. I mean, we've got to get a governor's warrant to extradite him back. That's something that we're processing as we speak. There are a number of things that we had to get in line before we could effect the arrest, but it was in pretty short order before we effected the arrest that we had his name definitively tied to those two profiles.
Naming him, but like, how did that all come about?
That's something that we're not going to get into today.
Reward for the tip? Was there a reward offered?
There have been rewards, to my knowledge. No one has received a reward to this day, and whether or not that's going to happen, I don't know the answer to that.
Sorry, just to follow up on Maya's line of questioning. So was this an issue of like advancements in DNA technology, or was this a matter of more so fresh eyes, Sergeant Burrow looking at the file and seeing that there was this possible name and that 1996 case that had his DNA connected to it?
It was a grouping of all of that. I think certainly getting Mike on this case and having fresh eyes to sift through, as I said, probably 1,000 pages of incident reports and things like that, hastened our ability to get there. But with the help of Special Agent Shimp and the FBI, there were a number of avenues that we were already going down that got us closer to that point. But I don't think we're here today in March of 2026 without Sergeant Burrow really combing through this with a fresh set of eyes.
You mentioned hundreds of people might have been interviewed. During this case, someone said that he was not one of those people. Is that correct?
To my reading, we did not interact with him at all through the. It truly was hundreds of people interviewed, hundreds of at least 100 people looked at as potential suspects. He was not one of them.
Can you posit why he was in Nebraska? Was he there because he was trying to avoid justice? I mean, or was there another? How long had he been there?
To our understanding, he had been there not as an immediate flight. He had been there a number of months, potentially a number of years, not many years, but it was not something that was an immediate flight. So we're going through all of that right now to really nail it down, but we don't have definitive time that he moved up there.
Clarify on the case file situation when they're talking about the name. You went through, you said 1,000 pages of case file. His name was not in any of it. And you guys were all working toward presumably getting to his name eventually, but it was really the tipster that kind of sped everything along after 36 years. Is that sort of what you're getting at? You won't talk to us more about tipster?
Yeah, I would certainly say that sped along what eventually we believe would have come about anyway. But yes, that was something that narrowed the field.
And did the tip come in like in 2026 or?
So that's something that I'm working on for the next episode where we talk about him. I'm scraping together that right now, but I think I may have already found some. But exactly, good point. They do plan on doing that. They're collecting data right now because this all just happened. He just got arraigned too. So this was 2 weeks ago. Then he got extradited back to Texas. Then he got arraigned. Actually, he might have even gotten arraigned there. I need to double check, but he got arraigned. Oh no, he did. He was arraigned, extradited, then sent here, and then arraigned again. Something like that. But I'll show you that in a little bit.
Is it like?
We're not going to go into when we got different things on the timeline. We're not going to go into when we got it, but thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So are you, because you're showing us these photos of the cop cars, do you think that he was impersonating a cop when he committed these crimes and potentially other crimes in our area?
That is exactly what we believe as to other crimes.
And remember the one with the dancer was a home invasion. So did he knock on the door pretending to be a cop? We don't know. We don't have all the details on that.
The DNA that we have to indicate at least one of the sexual assaults, there is even back then an indication that he held himself out in some way as law enforcement. So speculating as to what he was doing that night is not something that we're going to do here in this press conference.
And see, he just confirmed it right now. He said, even the one with the sex assault, you know, there was evidence that he was a cop. That means that she likely told him, the victim likely told the police, you know, he pretended to be a cop. Or he portrayed himself as a cop.
Know for a fact that he was holding himself out to be law enforcement on numerous occasions, both before and after these murders.
Not just that, but remember, he was sentenced to 20 years for doing that very thing, and they only kept him in 3 years. So that's on them. That's on the police. That's on the justice system. And here's another thing to consider. And this is going to blow your mind. Do you remember when we were talking about Kenneth McDuff? Why did McDuff get released? In fact, he went to jail, this guy, or went to prison, this guy, at the same time McDuff was getting out. And for 5 years, there was a horrible, horrible situation in the pardons and paroles here. Because people were accepting bribes. Remember, that's exactly how Kenneth McDuff got out. A serial killer who killed children, who attacked children, who he attacked some being racist, and then the others he killed. And it was in a brutal, violent way. And he molested them. And then he kidnapped a guy and then was like, molest them with me, attack them. And then he killed Colleen McNamee. Like, do you remember they let him out so that he could go kill again? And that's when Colleen McNamee went missing here from Austin, from East 5th, the car wash that I used to go to every fucking month, every week, every month. I'm kind of filthy. It was every month. But like, that's crazy. And it was all because his mom and dad were wealthy. off land and oil money, if I remember correctly. And they bribed the pardon and parole board. So it was very corrupt. And at the time, there was a surge in inmates and they couldn't afford it. And so they couldn't afford to keep everyone. And so they were releasing people from 87 until 90. 85 until 90, but 87 is when he got out. And this guy went in and then he was released right before this. He was supposed to serve 20 years. He served 3. It was the same with McDuff. He was supposed to serve actually, he was the only inmate who got life in prison and then he got out. So he had life in prison and he got out right before. And it turns out he bribed a parole board member. For all we know, this guy could have done the same because that's insane. And he was impersonating an officer. He was committing assaults. He was doing all kinds of fucked up shit and he had a record. And they let him out after 3 years. This is the exact same pardon and parole board that let him out, that let out McDuff. They let this guy out. And then Governor Ann Richards came in and there were serial killings and murders rampant. Like it went insane. They let out over 1,000 people who would go back in and something like 500 of them committed insanely violent crimes. And I think it was 25 of them ended up being serial killers, child molesters, shit like that. And everyone blamed Ann Richards. Even I did. But it turns out it was the guy right before her. She was the one who was like, lock him back up and here's what we need to do. And the governor after her. They said, now we're going to put them back in and so we don't make that mistake again, all because of Kenneth McDuff. Like, everyone was horrified. They were so mad. They were like, you guys let this fucking fool out and he killed all these people. So the response to that was to build the first like super max industrial prison that was privately owned. So private prisons, thank you, Kenneth McDuff, apparently. But they ended up being horrible because then what? Then they started torturing inmates. We saw an insane rise in human rights violations and abuses. Texas specifically, we execute more people than anywhere, I think, other than like Florida, if I remember correctly. And keep in mind that a bunch of people are innocent in jail. There's like, what is it, 1 in 3 in Texas were sentenced to death row or something, or 1 in 10. I don't remember. It's too much. But so then you think about it like, okay, private prisons, what's the problem with those? Well, you can buy into them. And now the governors, or our governor, our senator, Mitch McConnell, all these fucking people who are in politics bought into them. So now all of our political officials are making money, like a ton of it, off of private prisons that were built to make up for mistakes like McDuff and this guy. So because our state fucked up, senators, politicians, and a bunch of private rich guys get to make a shitload of money to make up for their mistakes. It's insane.
That is why we're talking about this, because the way that we believe many more victims were victimized was based on the fact that we believe he was holding himself out to be law enforcement.
I believe he's going to be back from Nebraska within days or weeks. Are you guys going to seek an 11B hearing to keep him in custody in Harris County?
So in a capital case like this, we have a number of avenues. We have what's called a proof evident hearing, or in current, the new 11D. We're going to work with our trial team to determine which of those avenues we're going to do. But to the community as a whole, we're going to do everything in our power to ensure that this individual does not get out of custody before he faces a jury of his peers. So, no,
Okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. In the 1996 case where he was identified as the suspect and there was
R.I.P. Ann Richards, indeed. Her daughter was the founder of Planned Parenthood, if I remember correctly. So thank you, Governor.
DNA connected to him. Is it true that he was no build, or what happened with that?
That's what happened in that case. So it was apparently presented to a grand jury, and they declined to return an indictment, which, as anyone that follows crime knows, that effectively ends the prosecution of the case. And so that's what happened in the 96 case, which is different than any of the other cases we were dealing with because it was an unknown identity in those, whereas there was a known identity in that case.
For anyone who recognizes this car or recognizes the images of him from the 90s, you say that you want to hear from them. Who should they be reaching out to?
It's almost like we worked together on this question. This is the number that we would advise the public to call. Samantha, our investigators, Lauren, we want to speak to every one of you. Lieutenant Zimmerman gave you 2 other avenues that call anyone. Call 222 TIPS. Call HPD homicide.
I think maybe I didn't say it right, or maybe you didn't hear me right. Private prisons. Prisons have been around for fucking hundreds of years. Don't get me wrong, and you're absolutely right. I'm talking about private prisons, where a private individual can make a shitload of money off of a prison. They can buy into it. They can put money into it like it's got a board, literally like shareholders and shit. And now they're doing that with camps, the border camps, and they're making a shitload of money off of them. A shitload of money off of them. But I'm talking private, like corporate run prisons, where they like get a contract for one specific company to provide the food, right? And that company happens to be owned by Christy Noem's best friend's ex-husband. That kind, you know? That's it. Just normal, everyday mom shit. I'm going to let them continue.
Call this number. Trust me when I tell you, we all work together extraordinarily collaboratively. You're going to get to someone that understands and knows about this case. But the 2 people standing right there, and I don't know if they know this yet, myself, we are going to be the 3 people that try this case. So at the end of the day, we are going to be the people that need to speak to you and really vet it. So please call HPD homicide, please call Crime Stoppers to give the tip, but understand that they are going to eventually funnel to this number because we're going to be the ones that have to talk to you going forward on this.
Positive people not acting alone because it was.
And hold on, I'm going to let them finish a second. But what do you guys think about, like, how do we stop? There's supposed to be oversight over who gets those contracts for those private prisons, right? And recently, we had some politicians come out and say that you're not allowed to hold stocks, or if you're, you know, if you're a senator, if it wasn't a senator, a representative, right? But this doesn't count for the senator, stuff like that. So why can't there be laws against buying into any entity that has a contract or a subcontract with the government? Like, I don't think politicians should be allowed to be on the board, buy into or own Blackwater or any private prison. Like, I feel like obviously they can. I mean, the coal mining, Mitch McConnell makes so much money off of miners, like mining and getting cancer and stuff in coal mines in Kentucky. So much so that, like, it's part of the legislation, you know, but he also owns it. So he's legislating on himself. It feels very fucked up. We need to do something about that. There needs to be a regulation there. The problem is the people who make all the money about it from it make all the rules. We need to get rid of lobbying and all that shit too. But the problem is there's lobbyists who lobby for good shit that helps society. So it's like, what do you do then? Fuck.
Are you guys still, are you now believing that he operated alone? There's not other people involved, or do you know where you are?
We are not closing any doors. We're not. We think that by identifying this defendant, more things are going to come out. I think that the hypothesis is that we're out there about more than one perpetrator. The physical evidence still says that that's a possibility. So we're not closing the door on anything. We are certain that this defendant participated in these murders. That's what we know for sure.
Cheryl and Andy during the course of their daily lives, or was this like completely random? those hypotheses that's been out there.
And those are the things that we're actively going to seek the help of the public, because as I said, I believe that there are more victims out there. And as we are able to identify more victims, it's going to be easier to identify a common thread of behavior that this defendant was engaged in. So right now it would be speculation, but by the time we go to trial, we're going to have a better idea.
How large are the cold case units that were involved here? How many people in the DA's office, police department?
Come on, guys.
So the cold case division of the Harris County District Attorney's Office is pretty small. It's me and one other prosecutor right now, but we're hoping that we can continue to grow it and add more prosecutors. Hint, hint. So. And I have a sergeant and 4 officers, but we are also bolstering our unit with more detectives.
We have a lot of old footage of you talking about this case from the 90s. I was wondering if you care to share your thoughts.
Yeah.
This is a good day. I want to thank you guys because y'all kept it alive for 36 years, almost. Shane, I kept telling you, this case will clear. I know it's hard to have patience after almost 36 years, but clear it. Because we had DNA. And back in new technology, I had been involved in a case in 1987.
By the way, I love him. I love his passion. This whole conference is so we can get to this good guy. Like, I just love him so much. This is an OG who actually cared, who's been fighting for this case. God bless him.
Yeah.
This is a good day. I want to thank you guys because y'all kept it alive for 36 years, almost. Shane, I kept telling you, this case will clear. I know it's hard to have patience after almost 36 years, but clear it. Because we had DNA. And back in 1990, that was an exciting new technology. I had been involved in a case in 1987, the first prosecution here in Harris County involving DNA evidence. And so I knew that was the link, even though I probably terrorized every one of Cheryl and Andy's friends from here to North Carolina with my investigation. Literally, I myself, I looked at over 36 potential suspects. At one point, not Chief Diaz, but other chiefs were like, we don't have that kind of money to spend on more testing of DNA. You have to give me more than just, I want to test this guy. And so I am excited. I worked this case for 17 years, and then in retirement, I've kept connected with John Shemp and the Houston Police Department, the DA's office. I do volunteer work for the Texas Attorney General's office with cold case and missing persons. So I convinced them, let's add a little funding to the DNA to test these cases on Lovers Lane. It's a happy day for me. So that's all I'm going to say. Did you have something you want?
I was looking for your reaction because you haven't really talked about it since retirement, right?
No. You know, because you called me a couple of times, so I wouldn't talk to you.
Going to be that this day would come, and what were your thoughts?
Wednesday, a week ago, I was in the dentist chair and I got a phone call from Samantha, and of course I didn't answer it because they were hands in my mouth and they were working on my cleaning my teeth, and so it went to voicemail. And then when I stepped out of the dentist office, I checked the voicemail message, and Samantha said, "Hey Billy, can you give me a call? It's about the Lovers Lane case." And so when I called her, the first thing she said was, "You're at home? Can I come out to your house?" And I'm like, ding, 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 this is a good call. And so I told her, I'll come to your office. I'll be there at 12:15. So I've been excited for the last 9 days now, 10 days. It's a good day. And the one I want to recognize more than anybody is Mike Burrows. The new, he's, I hope I'm not saying anything, but he's had this case since January. And it was through his, I've probably read the case 20 times, my part of the investigation. Of course, I retired in 2009. I know Samantha read it at least 10 times, and I don't know, once or twice, but it's a big case, a lot to read, and he found something and pursued it. And so I'm probably should recognize him, but I'm gratified for his work, his hard work.
Just for clarification purposes, is this guy's last name Parrott or Perro?
We've been saying Parrott.
Okay, guys.
The other
Okay.
question-
So I have to end it here. Hugin has to go outside and take a poop. But I want to tell you guys, I love you. You're the best. I appreciate you. I'm thinking about you. And I hope you have a good night. I'm going to let them do the final question. I'm going to let it wrap up. And then I'm going to Polish goodbye you. All right? Good night from me. Good night from Hugen. I almost said Hugen. Hugen. Motion to make this man our grandfather. He is now Papa. Okay? Harris County Papa. All right? Pooping is very important. He's going to let some poop out. Thank you very much, Kittens of Crime. Thank you, Reggie, Laura, everybody who was here tonight. God bless you. God bless you all.
Question is, what do we know about him? Was he living with family, a wife? Does he have kids? Like, what do we know about this guy?
We know some. We know that for the vast majority of his life, he was in this area. We know that he has been married a number of times. He's got. We know that he left Houston, the Houston area, less than 2 years ago. So that it's one of the reasons that we feel really confident in saying that he's been preying on this community for a long, long time. And there are people out there that are watching this who have been victims or who know him. And I don't know if I stressed it enough before. You don't necessarily have to have been a victim of this individual to contact us. We want to hear from you if you have any information. If you were a coworker of his anywhere that he may have worked. So we know some, but nothing close to what we intend to know in pretty short order. A lot of that by enlisting the help of the community through our media partners.
Sorry about that. I've seen some records that show he might have been a record driver or a private investigator. What can you say about what jobs people might have encountered him in?
So we do have some information that he worked as a manager and or bouncer at different clubs, both topless clubs or regular nightclubs. We have some information that he was doing and working at auto parts stores in the late 80s. We have some information that he was at least affiliated with a wrecker at some point. So we of this individual to contact us. We want to hear from you if you have any information. If you were a coworker of his anywhere that he may have worked. So we know some, but nothing close to what we intend to know in pretty short order. A lot of that by enlisting the help of the community through our media partners.
Sorry about that. I've seen some records that show he might have been a record driver or a private investigator. What can you say about what jobs people might have encountered him in?
So we do have some information that he worked as a manager and or bouncer at different clubs, both topless clubs or regular nightclubs. We have some information that he was doing and working at auto parts stores in the late 80s. We have some information that he was at least affiliated with a wrecker at some point. So those are the type of places where people might have encountered him. But again, that's not the sum total. So wherever, if this person looks familiar, reach out.
And somehow the experiment, was he surprised? Was he alone? A lot have to go.
What do y'all, you want to, yeah, come on, Mike. I know everybody wanted to hear from Mike anyway.
As far as the arrest, we had FBI assistance with that, obviously. Sergeant Rodriguez and myself don't have arrest powers in Nebraska, so they helped us out a lot in numerous ways, including searches of properties up there and things like that, and providing us a facility to try and interview the suspect. It was a SWAT team arrest. FBI SWAT team arrested Mr. Parrott after keeping him under surveillance for a period of time. And when he came out of his apartment, they approached him and took him down.
Has he said anything to y'all? Denied anything, or we can't talk about what?
We're not gonna talk about whether or not even the defendant gave a statement. Those are things that we're gonna wait for, the case to matriculate through the courts.
Logistically, how's that going to all happen?
So